I'm here at the Wegmans LPGA Championship. My name is Craig Cam, Chief Communications Officer at the LPGA. Great to be joined by Inbee Park. I think you know her quite well. She's had some success in this event, and you are back, although a different venue. So let's get your impressions first of all of Monroe and what you've seen thus far. I know you're headed out to the program.
Yeah, I've been to the first one. I've played the first one this week, and I'm really surprised on how they take it at the golf course. Other people, say before we think the course is just wide open and no rough, and everybody was saying that sounds like, that's gotta be like a major golf course setup. And then I actually played this golf course, and I think the course is an actual really good major golf course. And there's a lot of this golf course, and greens are very slopey, and even if it's a little bit wider off the tee than Locust Hill, it's still a very tough golf course. And the roughs are up, and it's just it's going to be a very exciting golf course, and I think it's maybe even better than last one.
Last week you played very well. Obviously you didn't get the victory that you were seeking. How did the setup last week at Blythefield perhaps help you this week? Was there anything similar that you feel like can really help you?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a Locust Hill type of golf course, seeing last week's golf course, so I thought it's going to be a really good practice. And I think, the grass style and, golf course that I was streamlined, I think it's really similar to this golf course. So I think, playing last week helped me a lot, and obviously I really wanted to, try to do putter last week and, get the feel of it, and I got that from last week. So, I think that's good.
One win for you this year, 10 top 10s. Is last week a disappointment for you that you didn't get the victory, or something that only adds more to this week?
To think positively, I just think that I probably saved one for this week, and obviously last week I was 2 under through 3 holes, and if I shot even par on the last 15 holes, I would have won. But obviously I just didn't putt as well than the first 3 days on the final rounds, and that was pretty much it. I was very calm out there. I was hitting the ball great. I feel like my game is in good condition.
Let's put hands up for questions. We do have some microphones, and we'll get to those, and I'll steer it around the room if you've got one. Let me go back to last year one more time and talk about the incredible run that you had. I know you've been asked about this many times, but what did this event mean for you in the midst of what was not only a great season in women's golf, but in golf period? How big was this one for you?
This was my second major for the season, and I think it was, winning 2 events in a row. And obviously, it meant a lot because, I just didn't expect, what I was going for obviously at that moment. And obviously, I didn't know I was going to win 3 majors in a row, and this was kind of in the middle of it. So it was a very important tournament, and having a major win before the U.S. Open helped me a lot to kind of building up the season. And I always loved to play in Rochester area, and actually having to win in that week, was great because there was so many fans out there watching, and so many people wanting us to play well. So it was cool to kind of play good in front of them.
Inbee, has this year been a success for you based on everything you accomplished last year, or has it been a mental challenge or a disappointment? How would you assess this season?
I think for me, I think it's not a bad season at all for me, because I had a win, and I've played very consistently this year, and I feel like my game is actually improving. Just except for putter. That's it. Because last year I just putt so well, I just hold so many putts. And this year, my game, my ball striking, my green side, chipping, and everything has really improved. But there's just not many putts, but it's just so hard to beat whatever I did last year. So I knew that before starting this season, I was going to have a challenge to beat last year's record. But I could have won a couple more tournaments, that's for sure, but especially lately. But except for British and last week, I just feel like I played quite good season.
You talked last year about the enormous amount of media attention that you were receiving during that great run of major championship victories and the season that you had. And at the end of the year, and then even this year when you were at Augusta National making your speech for the golf writers, you talked about how you dealt with that. Do you feel much more comfortable in situations like this with the media and going week to week and doing press conferences and having that type of attention than you might have a year ago?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a lot more comfortable, in front of the media or dealing with the media, or in pressure conditions. I feel like I'm a lot more mature, like a lot more experienced, especially like in the situations like where I'm leading or where I am having a pressure on the final round and that kind of things. Experience doesn't help you, and especially like after the third round, even if I was leading last week, I wasn't that nervous. I was able to do, what I'm supposed to do, and I was able to do my routines, and I was just myself. And yeah, I think that's been the most different.
You certainly walk in with a lot of different body language than you might have a year ago. Very calm. So your question here, Randall.
Hi, Inbee. Last year when I asked you about your putting, you said you really didn't have a putting coach. That's something you take care of yourself. Is that still true? You pretty much work on your own putting, or?
Yes, that's true. I kind of just talk with my fiance, and that's it. I mean, on the putting, he tries to help me a little, but mostly I just rely on my feeling. I just rely on what I've done in the past. So.
What adjustments have you made this year?
Just a little bit on the posture, and I tend to pull the ball a little bit, so I'm just trying to start the ball a little bit online. So my follow stroke goes a little bit inside, so I'm just trying to straighten that out a little bit.
Just one last thing. You seem so unhappy with your putting at times this year, and yet you're number 3 in putting. Did you just have a really high standard, or did you feel like you're off?
I don't know whether I'm, hitting the ball closer so I get more opportunities, but I'm missing that. Or I think this year I think I'm just getting a lot more opportunities at a birdie than last year. And last year, like I said, if I had 10 opportunities, I've made 8 of them. This year I had 20 opportunities, I'm making 8 of them. I think that's been actually a little bit of a difference, right there, like. Hitting the ball, and I'm hitting so many great shots out there, but just really wasting a lot of opportunities. That's why I feel like I'm missing a lot of putts. But averaging-wise, I think I probably gave maybe 1 or 2 strokes on the putting. Per round, I think I've averaged about 27, 28 last year. This year, I'm having a lot of rounds that's over 30, late 20s. So.
Inbee, every player seems to go to certain golf courses and they might say, this one fits my eye. I really like this course. I can just tell before I even play it. I like how it looks. Specific to putting and the greens, can you walk to a golf course, maybe Monroe this week or Blythefield or any of the other courses that you've won on and say, I know I'm going to have a good putting week. I like the way these greens are undulated. I like the way these greens are flat. Is there a preference you have? And do you know when you're going to have a good week?
Yes, I like the greens where they have bad grass and very undulated greens. I don't like, greens where they are very grainy or plana. Those 2 greens I kind of, touch the putt on, but wherever it rolls really true, I like to putt there.
Okay, so now everybody on tour knows where not to play that week. 59 weeks at number 1 in the rankings. Let's talk about that briefly. Stacey Lewis reclaimed number 1 on June the 1st, and then you ended up winning the tournament right after that. How much is the ranking in your mind right now and trying to get back?
When I was number 1, I really, thought about, being a number 1 or, who's trying to catch me or, whatever. I was looking at the rankings on that, but since I've got to number 2, 3, I just, seem to care less a little bit and just, until I get really close to number 1, I probably wouldn't even look at them. I'm just trying to, play good every tournament, and obviously I need to win a couple tournaments before I get to that spot, so I need to do whatever I need to do before looking at the rankings. So.